We're going to be putting some brake pads on this. It's a custom Super 73 RX that I did for a customer a while back, and another customer bought it, completely wore out the brake pads, everything else. So we're going to go ahead and put some brand new brake pads on this bad boy, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So let's take care of that. What I really don't like about doing all this custom plastic stuff and carbon stuff, this guy's beat the hell out of his bike. It's actually a pretty nice bike. It was an R. The customer bought an RX, had me swap all the parts over to it so it matched and put all these carbon bits on there, but it makes it so you can't put your hand underneath here. On the regular R, regular fender or RX, you have it where you can put your hand underneath there. The light's right there, all nice. This bad boy right here, light looks really cool, but can't grab it. So recommend in the future, if you're going to be doing any carbon bits on bikes like this, just remember they are carbon. You can break, you crash them. It does make certain spots and other things hard to work on. But let's go ahead and get these brake pads on here real quick. We're going to take a look at the front wheel here. See, it's really hard to see with these big old fat tires in the way to try to look down into here. But at least with this phone, what I can do makes it a lot easier to go in here, and you can kind of see there's almost no pad material left. Let's see if we can get in a little closer. And sometimes it's really hard to see, but you can see there's barely any pad material left inside of there. Pistons are sticking out on that bad boy there. Really tell those pads are really worn down, so you don't want them sticking out as much with the pistons out as much like that on the front. And if we go look at the rear, let's grab our lights, portable light, and then you can actually see down in there. Look at how bad those things are. There's like almost no pad material left. A 5mm Allen wrench. Can be really tight, especially if they get hot. So just gotta make sure you get them a good one. And make sure not to ever use a Bondus tip. Never use that tip. Only use the flat tip. And try not to use the tri-Allens like these. You just put too much torque on your wrist at a really weird angle. And I've also, on like these Pedros ones, I've broken it right across here. So don't do that. And like, again, I don't like the Bondus tipped ones. All mine are flat tipped, and they still round a little bit. So just be careful. Just make sure that you use a nice, good Allen wrench. You can get low on it, get a lot of torque. Not one of those huge ones, so you don't want to strip the bolts, but make sure those are nice and loose. Take those off. You don't have to take out the front wheel. And then we're going to spread that out with the brake spreader. All right, now we're going to go ahead and go here. And there's an awful lot of red style Loctite on here, or Loctite. So, and then the second one, God, this one's really, really, really tight. Just talk to it. Just talk to it. There we go. Nice. All right, now we're gonna need to spread these open. Look how little pad there is left. It still looks like there's plenty there, but actually that's very, very little. And then the brake blocks that we need to go up there are going to be these kinds of blocks right here. So these are ones that normally come with the brakes. It says 1.8mm thickness. This one does not say 1.8, but it is. This is the older school one. Now if you notice, this is gnarled there and gnarled there. So this is more for keeping with the bike. And then you have the 2.4 super thick here and the 2.0 not as thick there. This one's okay for kind of spread them out. This one's really good for spreading them open. These ones, since it's open right there, really doesn't do as good a job. I keep this one in my pouch. This is the old school one, and it actually says pad spreader on there. Then Park Tool also has, of course, this one right here. And then we're gonna put it in there. But while you're doing it, you wanna make sure that you're kind of pumping the brake lever at the same time. All right, even though these people are gonna be talking a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Got your little toolie there. Don't just smash it in there like a lot of guys do. Sit there and smash it in there. Put it in just a little bit. Just a little bit. While you're holding on to it, pump the brake just a little bit. Alright, so I got those open quite a bit. 4-piston brakes. Now these bad boys do not want to move. So we're gonna have to take a look at these in just a second. Okay, even when doing that, pistons are still pushed out a little bit. But there's a lot of room there. Lots and lots of room. That means there's just a lot of pad that was missing. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. Try to get these straight because see they're not pushing in properly. Push them in nice and straight. Clean it up. What I'll do real quick is remove this little clip. Pin, 3mm. Pull these out of here real quick.
No, they're not off-road bicycles. It does, and it really gives an off-road look, but it avoids the warranty to take it off-road. You can tell it pretty easily. Just the dirt, the chipping. So you can adjust where the battery is located, but also
Almost nothing left.
you can put down there a lot of different options. Mad Dog's Englishman, this is Dylan.
And before I push in the pistons here, I put a little tri-flow right there, right there, right there, and right there. If you can see, it's soaking in a little bit. Still a little dry, but
This is working like a charm.
yeah, I know. See?
You gotta do this to all of them. I bet you were wasting
And be able to
so
push
much.
those things in
Huh?
so much easier. What I do like about these things here is the pistons are hollow inside.
This is next to coffee.
Sweet. You can take this, get it right inside there, and you can push down. Just make sure you don't hit the edges and all that stuff. See, it's really hard for me to see while I'm trying to film this at the same time. But I'm gonna go in there at an angle. I know it's a little dark. Wish I had some better lighting. Gonna go in there at a little bit of an angle and just push directly down. Do not squeeze this. And the reason why I'm using this is because it's very rigid, very narrow. And then it won't really screw things up. And I can push down like this on the piston and kind of push down a little bit. And I can move around and push the piston in. So the pistons are gonna go in. Now what's gonna happen is you're gonna push down on one piston and a lot of the other pistons are gonna try to push out. So what I try to do is I put a little plastic block in one end, try to push these ones in, put another plastic block on that end. What I'm really wanting to do right now is just make sure all these pistons really move. And then whenever I want to clean it out and put new pads in, I'll be able to put the other brand new brake block in there and push those all the way back out. So let's clean that up a little bit. See, they're moving quite a bit. You can tell they're not out as far as they were. So even if I took this one and kind of pushed up on it a little bit, just push up on it. See how the piston goes in a little bit? And it wants to come back out. See? Oh, no, it's really hard to see. It's hard to see at that angle. Same with that one. Boom. So I can push up on it. See, it disappears and it comes back out. It's because the pressure that's in the system. See, push up and then down. Up and then down. See? So that's just what happens with these pistons. So you just got to kind of work with it as much as you can to get them working free. I use some tri-flow to lube these all up inside of here. And I'm going to use a little bit of some muck off here. Get some of that in there. And just inside. Air compressor. Blow this out. Look in there, real good. Inside. Hit it from the other side. That should be pretty good. Wet it out really good. All right, a couple more blasts. All right, see? As it grabs all that garbage and it takes out with it. Nice and clean there. Nice and clean. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. All right, nice and clean. Ready to go. Man, he really weared the hell out of these brakes, dude. He sure did. You see his pads, they're all messed up. All right, so let's see here. Thickness. Oh man, you can just tell. Wow, completely burned out. So put some new ones on there. Now the fun part that a lot of guys don't like about putting pads in. Pad, spring, right over the pad like that. Of course, just like that. Pinch them together. See if you can hold it, just like that. Take your caliper, you gotta feed it in through the bottom, like that. So if you feed it in, it'll slide in. Slide it up until you see these tabs line up at the hole there. And then once that can line up at the hole, put your pin through. Make sure it goes all the way through to the other end. And get a 3mm out. Boom. It's a little snug. Don't tighten up too much. Little silver clippy thingy. Retainer clip. Retains the bolt in there. Snap it on there. Make sure it's good. Myself, I'll take my other trusty little puck thing, put it in there like this, pinch, and then as I kind of pump the lever a little bit, there you go. Don't force it, just let the magic happen. And now, if you look, the pistons are almost all pushed back in. But that's pretty good though, because I can push this in, I can pull it out. If you want to do a better job, just grab your Park Tool one if you want to make sure you go all the way in, but remember how thick that's going to be. That's going to be pretty thick there. I don't even know how thick those are. I'm going to have to measure it someday. Put it in there, just enough. Squeeze this way, or squeezing the brake lever. And I'm squeezing, there we go. Squeezing and it's pushing in just a little bit. Boom. So it pushed in just a little bit, see that? And then let's make sure we can wobble this out of there. And that's not too bad. Pistons just don't want to come out anymore. If we need to at this point, if you want them to go all the way in, I can relieve some pressure out of the system. But what I'll do probably is put it on the bike and just test it. That might be just right. So let's go ahead and put it on, let's check it out. Now when I put this thing onto here, it was very, very tight. Just kind of slid it on, held it in my hand, and then squeezed the lever. And the lever did not move hardly at all, so I'm going to go ahead and let a little bit of pressure out of here. All right, we're going to put a 15T here for the lever. Just to here. Ooh, lots of pressure. So open that up. We've just cracked, so no air gets in. A little pumpy, 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 pumpy. This loose. Close that bleed hole back down. Make sure you don't get oil on anything as you do this. All right. Now those pistons are all the way back in, so this brake's going to feel fantastic. All right. I was able to tighten all these things up. Was I screw these things all the way in, and I gave the brake lever a little squeeze. Now watch caliper. Watch caliper real quick. Watch. Boop. See, it moves just ever so slightly. I'll break that. So I'm going to snug these. I'm not going to tighten them. A little snug. And this one, I'm just going to snug it. Then we'll take a look. I don't see any light between either one. I don't hear anything. The rotor's nice and straight. We're gonna break at 3 pumps here. 1, 2, 3. Absolutely no rub. That hardly ever happens. Let's give these a nice little brake squeeze. Tighten that with a 1/4 turn. Tighten that with a 1/4 turn. We're about as snug as possible. Give it another spin. Look at that, beautiful. Now, when you look at it, people look at it from this angle. If I can get the camera to stay like this, I look at it from an angle like this. Let's see if we can go in there. See, let's look just very carefully. Now you see the light between. Stop shaking here. See, that's what you're looking for. That little bit of light, the exact same gap between the 2 sides there. Go ahead and get this caliper off of here. Two bolt. All right. Now the same routine. Take your little clip out. Do not lose the little clip. Loosen this up just a little bit. Now I'm not going to take this out yet because I have not taken my little bleed puck yet. A little red one, which is what I like to use at first. Grab the brake lever. Squeeze it while I'm pushing in. All right. There we go. And there. Put that up inside of the caliper itself. Start squeezing up while you're squeezing the brake lever. Oh, there it goes. It's going in. All right. Okay. Yep. So pull these things out of here. Look at those. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Look at my fingers. It's black. Ew. Ugh. Gross. A little bit there, a little bit there, and a little bit there. And we're gonna let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then it's gonna soak in. And then we'll be able to push those pistons back in. Don't try forcing those in when they're dry. You'll just probably break the seals. You can even mess with the pads. Also, don't just force them in there without moving the brake lever, because then you can also blow the diaphragm out in the brake lever. I'm just taking another little quick look at these brake pads. Boom. Wow. And then there's the ones that we got for them that work. So, give me the long ones. Look at that. Crazy, huh? Let me go ahead and install these bad boys. Brand new spring. Go from there. So now what I gotta do is gonna blade the brake a little bit. Everything's all cleaned out. Crack this with the T15. Same thing with the brake lever. Make sure you crack that buddy with the T15 as well. Already kind of make sure they're both loose. Trusty mineral oil. A lot of people would say, you should use the Shimano stuff on this. I'm not going to waste my time on the Shimano stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just use the Finish Line's really good stuff. For the Tektro, you can get the Tektro oil. I think it's pretty much the same thing. We do have Shimano, but I'm going to go ahead and just use this stuff on here just because I have it and it's easy. So we're going to put the little plastic brake puck in there. Put this inside of the brake itself. Good to Look out. For our bleed kit, do not open up the top yet, all the way. I've got it snug closed, puts this on the floor. What's going to happen is you'll leak fluid all over the damn place. So it's going to be the bigger of them. Comes with all these little adapters for that little thing right there. I'm going to go ahead and find the right one. And I think I have found the correct one for the caliper, which looks like that because it looks exactly the same. And then I'm also going to do the same thing for the lever. So what it does is it adapts the tip of that to work with that. Boom, now I can fill this up and go from there. I'm going to go ahead and thread this one in. It's got a little fluid in it. I went ahead and filled this up with about half a thing of mineral oil. Get that boy on there. Let that sit for a minute. Let any air bubbles just kind of come from the top. And then bring it up. Now I'll take off the top one. Alright, so one for the caliper, one for the brake lever. See, they're shorter. So the one I put in for the adapter for the brake caliper is this one. And then I'm going to find the one that will match for that one, for the brake lever. And it looks like it is going to be, it's going to do me that one. So let's see. Yeah, they look like they're about the same size, about the same depth. Yeah, so that's going to work good. So on your brake thing here, a little adapter on there. There we go. The brake lever itself. So that's on the brake lever. I'm slowly pushing from the caliper into this one. And if you need, you can create a little bit of vacuum on this side. A little bit of suction. That stuff is brown. Looks like there's particulate matter coming out. So we'll just slowly push it. And I'm going to watch that one go up just a little slowly. Break it up. I'm going to have it back a little bit. Ooh, the reset one's on. So let's do it again. That one came in for completely redo this. Floor, so many times. And so we go on that one. And that, close this one off. A little bit of pressure in there. Alright, get this one ready. Plug this in. A little bit of juicy juice to come out. We're going to go ahead and make sure this block in here is in between the two pistons. And then we'll start pumping the brakes here a little bit. And let them feed a little bit into the pistons there. And then I'm going to let them sit for a second because turn that around that direction. And what's going to happen is there's going to be air in the lines right here. Air bubbles, if there are any, are going to travel upwards into the frame. And then now this is going up. Air bubbles are still going to be able to travel up and then go through the hose and go upward now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of wait the thing out for a minute. Give it about 5 minutes. Come back to it and give it a couple pumps on the lever here. I mean, it's already starting to feel better already. So walk away from it for a few minutes. I'm going to leave this open on the top. Basically, it's another open reservoir up here. There we go. All right, look at that. Even a bubble came out right there. So it's been about 10 minutes or so. Oh, this feels amazing. So as you come up, a little bubbles trying to work its way up to the top here. I don't know, see much pressure when you're creating a vacuum. Not much trouble. If it's starting to never. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to a little pressure. Yep, a little pressure in this. Choose the bubble in line. Push while I squeeze. See this pressure is going to do is just pushing pressure through there, and then you're pushing more pressure through the line. It's going to work the bubbles up to the top, and you relieve all the pressure, and it rushes a bunch of fluid this direction. So I don't see any air. Go to the caliper. Make sure I'm not going to push the piston out again. Get this ready. That's the plug and your Torx. Now I'm going to prepare this so we don't get fluid everywhere. That's pretty good. See, just like that. And then push a little pressure, pressure, pressure. Squeezy, squeezy, squeezy. Screw this. And try to get as level as possible. Fluid will come out, don't worry about that. Sit this down. Not drop the plug in. And still holding the brake lever. Still holding it. Do that, close her up, not too tight. Good. Down. Caliper. Good while you do this. Now what might gonna happen is you're gonna probably have to put the pads in and do everything else. You're probably gonna have to let a little fluid out. So, but other than that, it feels fantastic. Alright, let's put some pads in and go from there. Pads. Not forget the clip. Now the pads are in. Just got to spread them a little bit. So I'm going to take my handy dandy little red spreader thing. Put them in there. Oh, that's tight. Feel to the brake lever. Oh, that's still nice and tight. And then our good test is put it on the rotor. Put it under through here. That's how the hose goes through. Back here, back here. And on there. See how it feels. Ooh, that actually feels good. Feels really good. Alright, so before I put it back on there, do this real quick. Put it back up really easily. Bolts in. Got brake lever. Let's tighten that down a little bit. Sorry for the bad angle, guys. Have to work with what I got. Well, let's test it out. I'm running the road now. I can roll this. Ooh, I think I got lucky. Ooh. Let's see. Oh, and you're ready. Let's grab a lamp, turn it on, and double check. With this bad boy. And just like that. That way, we'll be good to go. Looks like it's perfect. Zip ties that up here real quick. Couple nice small black zip ties. Button this up. Get it going here. First is the back one there, this topper. Alright, this one's a little trickier. Let's go from the back. Come up. Which isn't too hard. You can get it happening here. There we go. Come on, get through. There we go. 12 of 3. You can put the next one here for the motor if you'd like. Leave that one right there. And then this is going to be both the motor cable and the brake hose together. Put that one in here. I don't know what I'm doing. It's this one right here. There.
Yeah. Honestly, no. I really don't. I can tell you that they just streamlined it, made it a little bit more. Okay, no, all they did was slap it away.
Here we go. Brakes. Oh, feels so good. And no rubby. No rubby. And the front brakes. Oh, feel fantastico. And no rubby. They find so good. All right, so for this one's done. And then you're gonna see another bike get built up on the next one. All right.